Hello bookworms, welcome to the next video, another video, whatever you want to call it. Rye's joining me for this one. He says hi. My sucky baby. He's oh. Okay, enough cat. I'll never have enough cat. You guys know that. Today's book is The Traitor's Kiss by Aaron Beattie. No, Rye, you can't get on the table. You're making this difficult. I might have to put him down. This is one of the ones I absolutely love the cover. It is so beautiful with the flowers and the dagger. The flowers are mostly just on the front. He's being difficult. He doesn't want to stay. Hold on. Sorry about that. I thought he'd want to stay, but he did not. Yeah, so Traitor's Kiss by Aaron Beattie. It is book one of a trilogy. And I will read the back for you. An obstinate girl who will not be married. A soldier desperate to prove himself. A kingdom on the brink of war. With a quicksilver tongue and an unruly temper, Sage Fowler is not what they'd call a proper lady, which is perfectly fine with her. Deemed unfit for a suitable marriage, Sage is apprenticed to a matchmaker and tasked with wrangling other young ladies to be married off for political alliances. She spies on the girls and on the soldiers escorting them. As their military escort senses a political uprising, Sage is recruited by a handsome soldier to infiltrate the enemy ranks. The more she discovers, the more uncertain she is of whom to trust, and Sage becomes caught in a dangerous balancing act that will determine the fate of her kingdom. So this one is an adventure romance. Young adult, I guess a 13, 14 plus. It's slow burn romance, and there are some make-out scenes and stuff, but there's no heavy detail or anything like that. So parental discretion, but it's up to, like, if you want to read it first if you're unsure if your 13-year-old is mature enough for it. But they might be. I mean, I could have read this at 13 and I would have been fine, but I don't know how everyone's 13-year-old is. But anyway, so the two main characters are Sage. See, now with the soldiers, there's kind of few, because there's a Cassock, and, why can't I remember his name? It starts off with Sage. Quinn. Quinn is his last name. Alex Quinn is the handsome soldier that they talk about on the back of the book. Sage. So the world is I guess a little bit more advanced than medieval, but like back in the day for sure. It's a made up world, obviously. There's a map here at the beginning. I love when books have maps, although this one's kind of hard because it's like the crease, like a lot of this stuff happens and you can't even read because it's all bunched together, but literally it's like right there in the middle is you can't even see the map properly. And I found they don't some parts weren't quite labeled properly for me either, like when I was looking things up. But it is quite political, where they're talking about the different territories and like recent wars and stuff that was going on in the book. And yeah, I would say it's in depth with the history of the world and the wars and the royal families and the political intrigue with the different territories and countries, which is interesting. And the fact that they still have like a matchmaker society where there are political alliances based on family marriages and stuff, not And it's actually frowned upon to get married with a match that wasn't made by the matchmaker. So there's that in the book too, which is kind of old-fashioned to say, but I mean the whole book is, that's the world that they live in, right, with castles and all that stuff. The plot was well paced. I really enjoyed the characters. They're well rounded, well developed. They're believable, likable. You can see the growth in Sage and some of the other girls, because she talks like that she's with all these other ladies on their way. They're on their way to the capital for their giant mass political weddings. Is the only way to call it. They call it a concordium for all the political weddings and getting matched, and like the matchmaker and Sage, that's her part of her job, is assisting. She's very good at observing, and I think that's one of the reasons why the matchmaker likes her so much, because she can observe so easily and not be seen observing. She makes a very good spy. But it's frowned upon for a girl to be loud and outspoken and all those things. So Sage stands out, and she doesn't think she'll ever be matched. She doesn't think she wants to get married. Her parents were the ones who, I was saying how some people don't get matched. Her parents are those people. They fell in love and weren't matched. But there's a little bit of history behind that too, which we find out a little bit at the end of the book. And it's the journey with the girls and the soldiers. There's a little bit, I'm all over the place. I should have prepped myself better before I started this one, because I feel like I'm definitely all over the place. So the chapters are either from Sage's point of view or Quinn's point of view, and they jump back and forth. And they are in third person. So it's not first person with being directly through Sage's eyes, but Sage is the main focal point in certain chapters, and it jumps back and forth between her and Quinn. There are some spots where I was surprised, and when I look back at it, I shouldn't have been as surprised as I was, because they totally hinted at what was going on, and I didn't see it right away. But that's with me not wanting to figure out a story. I like to be surprised. I don't want to see the little things. And I realized it after, when it was revealed. I was like, oh, I should have known that. Like, she basically told us that in previous chapters, and I just didn't clue in. But that's, again, me wanting to be happily surprised. Other people might see it as a little bit more obvious, as I did. That's just me. What else do I always say? Talk about plot holes. There's still some... Actually, I found this one pretty well-rounded. Like, even though it's a trilogy, if you only read this, you'd probably be okay if you never read the next ones. I mean, it's not a complete final wrap-up. I enjoyed the ending. I thought it was really good, and it totally leaves it open for the next book. But if you never read them and you had a good imagination, you could totally see it as a complete happy ending. So there's that. But of course, there's going to be more. So I'm looking forward to starting the next book. I am just not into this today. I shouldn't have made the video. But I wanted to do the video because I want to read the next book, and I don't want to get things mumbled up between books, which is why I try and do it right away. What else? I have little notes. I didn't feel like there was any twists. Not really. There's some... See, that's how, at least, there's parts with the political bits. I was holding the book right in front of my face. You guys can barely even see me. There's some bits in there that lead to the second book, but you could technically ignore them as open holes. But that's where the second book comes in. The conflict is believable. It's a very real old world conflict between provinces and stuff like that. I'm just going to wrap this video up because now I'm rambling and I feel like I did very poorly on this. I would rate it 4 out of 5 stars. It is an excellent book, excellent writing. I found it to be a complete page turner. I read it very fast. I am a fast reader though. I will say that in probably every single one of my videos. I read it very fast. I may or may not reread it. It was definitely emotional. Oh my goodness, it was emotional. There is the love emotion and happy and anger and frustration and actual serious real tears at one point. I will not spoil it for you, but there is a very sad moment near the end of the book. Very sad. But overall the ending is happy. I may or may not reread it. I may gift it to a friend who I know will really enjoy them after I finish reading them all. But I really do like them. I did. I really enjoyed it. Page turner. 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend it. Check them out. And if you want to see the next review for book 2, it'll be... I'll do that video later. But I'll put the link for it once I make it in the description box for this video as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all later.